Hello and welcome back. I'm Jackie Hawk and this is Nami Nation by Kai's Korner Productions. You can find me at Quilflewriter on social media, and I am always happy to chat about video games. At the 11th Annual Game Awards, we finally had Game of the Year announced. And I have to say, Astro is the perfect comfort play for a stressful year. It won 3 other awards as well, including Best Game Direction, Best Action Adventure Game, and Best Family Game. Of course, what this means is you can play it at any age and have a great time. And the competition for Game of the Year was impressive. Balatro was ranked as the best indie game, debut indie game, and mobile game. And Metaphor was right up there with Best Narrative, Art Direction, and RPG. Black Myth Wukong took Best Action Game and won the Player's Voice Award. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth got Best Score and Music, of course. While the Elden Ring nomination didn't take any titles, it did have rave reviews and a must-play rating on Metacritic. I do think that part of this victory is that Astro is just a cozy game. It's also in part because it was pre-installed on the PS5, meaning the most avid Sony fans who wanted the latest console and could afford it technically got this game for free. Other features also made it convenient to have it around, like a controller testing sequence in the game. Still, this award is well earned and the team should be proud. There were quite a few announcements at the Game Awards, and while I won't be covering them all, one of the most important ones is that Ciri was announced as the Witcher 4 protagonist. This game actually debuted in the world premiere at the Game Awards, and was mostly met with excitement. But as with many games that have a female lead, there was some kickback. Anyone who played Witcher 3 would realize that Ciri is the natural protagonist for a sequel, not to mention that she's a central character in the books as well. Some of the gamers complaining about her as the player character have tried to deny that it's because she's a woman, although their excuse they give isn't exactly strong. Their complaint is that she's not attractive, and developers went out of their way to make her less appealing as some agenda to see women as anything other than attractive. I'm not sure what game they were playing, but Ciri has been frequently portrayed as Geralt's adoptive daughter, if not outright defined as such. Under no circumstances would the game frame her as attractive anyway, because their relationship canonically is supposed to be platonic. This will not stop the internet, of course, but it's strange to say so out loud. It's also worth noting that Ciri is not physically a witcher, and has not gone through those rituals. She ages like a regular human woman. Overall, she has an amazing design, and most people are excited to see the game come out. On the subject of new games coming up, Bandai Namco did announce Shadow Labyrinth also at the Game Awards. What's really amusing about this new title is the back and forth that led to the announcement. Secret Level is an anthology TV show we've discussed before with 15 games as the inspiration. One of them was Pac-Man, where the TV series took a dark approach to this classic title. And it was that Pac-Man horror episode that sparked the inspiration for Shadow Labyrinth, a Metroidvania game also inspired by Hollow Knight. If imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, there is a lot of compliments going around. In Shadow Labyrinth, you play a swordsman who is awakened by a familiar yellow companion called Puck. The name of Pac-Man in Japan was Puckman, so it's no coincidence. The maze format of this retro title is incorporated with a Hollow Knight-like combat system in a 2D player environment. All things considered, it balances nostalgia with modern gameplay in a dark setting. The game pulls off that heavy atmosphere, implying that Puck half possesses the swordsman to consume energy and help them escape the prison of a maze. The game is set to launch in 2025, so it's another title to look forward to. In the more immediate future, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 hits US theaters on December 20th, and has already gotten some early positive feedback. It does make sense given how much the team seems to really be leaning into that playful atmosphere of Sonic. Promotion for the movie has included parodying posters for Christmas movie classics. There were 9 in all, featuring the antagonists or our heroes, and referencing famous titles like How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Home Alone, and Elf. The movies they chose really show that the marketing team knows what it's doing, picking a good mix of 90s classics to speak to the original generation of Sonic gamers and more modern titles that will reach younger crowds. This sequel absolutely lives up to its predecessors, with an emotional plotline backed by Keanu Reeves' moving performance as Shadow, defying that usual expectation of movies getting progressively worse as the series goes on. Jim Carrey came back for the money and made no mystery about that, but he definitely delivered on the unhinged energy of Dr. Robotnik. The post-credit scenes do contain spoilers, so those who don't want to see that should duck out of the theater before then. On a closing note, people aren't the only ones coming up with New Year's resolutions while we go into the second half of December. Video games have come a long way since they started, and as everyone here knows, gaming is not a niche interest anymore. From humble beginnings in arcades, it's become a popular pastime for a third of the global population. But all good news comes with bad news, so the problem with this is that's a lot of consoles, computers, and mobile devices. Combined, video games generate more pollution than 5 million cars and consume more electricity than mid-sized countries. While sustainability has always been part of development, at least to save money, it can't keep up with advances in technology if it's on the back burner. No one wants to take a hit in performance and lose out on the style of a game, though, so there have been some clever solutions. Halo Infinite reduced energy use by 15% when they automatically lowered the graphics resolution once players hit pause. Lowering idle energy consumption was the natural first step for Xbox and PlayStation, and Xbox took it one step further by scheduling updates for when the local power grid has more renewable energy. More engaged efforts have come from the UN's Playing for the Planet Alliance, which hosts screen game jams to promote the development of games that inform players about climate change. While it's the energy industry as a whole that needs an overhaul, these are important steps in the right direction. Most power use goes to creating and maintaining the consoles versus using them at home, after all. Of course, there has been some criticism from people who wish they were spending more money on electricity. An optional power-saving mode from Xbox was met with the usual outcries about woke gaming. When Call of Duty came out with the default Eco Mode setting for lower graphics quality in menus and lobbies, about 10% of console gamers and 20% of PC gamers turned that feature off. Now, this doesn't mean that all of those players want to kill the planet. They might just care how the lobby looks. In the words of Ben Abraham, who oversees research at the Sustainable Games Alliance nonprofit organization, quote, "It's encouraging that it's only 10 or 20%. Given the perception of gamers as basement-dwelling troglodytes that only care about headshots, I think we're doing alright." Close quote. Stay up to date with gaming news by subscribing to Nami Nation by Kai's Korner Productions, and follow other entertainment news by subscribing to our KKP YouTube channel. That's all for now. I'm Jackie Hawk, and I will see you next time.